Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Expansion Pass here on Bossfish Network. I'm your host, and I say excited Eddie V. Joining me is Bossman himself, the one, the only Mr. Corey Derrick. Hello, good sir.
Hello.
How are you? It's been a while since we kind of recorded.
Yeah,
in a way,
it has been, but it's fine. I was on a work trip and we had to move some stuff around and everything, so it's fine. It's okay. It's good.
Good. Yes. Well, everybody, on this episode, we are looking back at the Nintendo Switch and its games in 2017. We know that the first batch of games was released on March 3rd, and the biggest one that released on that day, of course, was the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild that came out to the Nintendo Switch and Wii U. So, Corey, where do you want to start? Should we kind of start with the launch list of games that came out?
I think we can start before that, right? That January, we kind of got a taste of what was coming, right? We saw Octopath Traveler for the first time, and a bunch of things that we would end up playing, and I think a lot of people were kind of actually turned off by that presentation in January that which we did a watch along on.
Yes.
When we were still part of Nerds Gone Rogue, and that was not a popular thing for people. So,
and I think the thing about it was that it was so Japanese focused that I think from the West here in America, they didn't understand what they were really getting into, being able to see Splatoon 2 and seeing ARMS being announced, and then some of the games that was going to only be released in Japan, like even Shin Megami Tensei 5 being announced, we didn't even know what that was going to turn out to be until last year when it came out. So it's kind of amazing to look back from when they had that press conference till now. Even when they showed off the Nintendo Switch in this commercial, and we see the Legend of Zelda, and the guy getting a phone call and he has to go or walk the dog, and he picks up the Switch and the commercial is going. You see some sports, you see Skyrim in there. You're just like, wait, what is this? And yeah, until the presentation, we didn't know much more after that until after the system was announced.
Yeah, and I think that first commercial was a better indication of what the Switch was going to be, right? Fun, kind of take it everywhere. They made it a point in the first 10 seconds to show what the console did, and that it was it was this little box that you plug the handheld into, right? And then you could take the handheld out, and they showed the controllers in that little this was before we knew the Pro controller existed, but we thought we were gonna have to play with the Joy-Cons in the little grip, the Joy-Con grip, right? And
yeah.
Some people were kind of iffy on that, but it ended up being I think it met and exceeded expectations within the first 3 to 6 months, especially the whole year, right? We got a proper Mario game, we got a proper Zelda game, we got a sequel to Splatoon, which was arguably the biggest game on the Wii U, multiplayer wise. We got a new IP in ARMS. We got an incredible crossover with Ubisoft with Mario Rabbids.
Yeah.
We got 2 Fire Emblem games that year. I know one was on 3DS, but we got, Fire Emblem Warriors. We got a sequel to Xenoblade Chronicles, which nobody expected, right? So, that first year, you couple that with a couple of the Wii U ports like Mario Kart, and a couple interesting kind of early experiments like Super Bomberman R, and the Shovel Knight DLC came there first, and the Ultra Street Fighter 2 game that came out in May. What else came out? What what else came out that year in like July? Oh, Captain Toad and Octopath Traveler came out in July. Well, no, that was 2018, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, like that whole first year, and then when we got into like October, November, we saw Bethesda support with Skyrim, and then Doom shortly after, and then the announcement of Wolfenstein. Like that first year was pretty spectacular, and then you got like a lot of the indie support, and that started coming over because the Vita was failing, and I think that handheld indie audience was looking for somewhere to go, right? So you not only got the Nintendo faithful, you got people who are interested in having a handheld as their second console. And yeah, I mean, 2017 was an incredible year overall.
Yeah. Well, we could take a look at their launch lineup. And this is just the physical ones outside of the digital games. So they have 1-2 Switch, Just Dance 2017, Super Bomberman R, Skylanders and Imaginators, and then The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. All of that dropped on March 3rd. And I remember, Breath of the Wild was a 1-to-1 ratio with the system. Because I was at Toys.
It was over at one point. Remember when people ended up just buying the game because they couldn't find a Switch, so they bought the game and just waited for it?
Yeah.
I think it's funny. I think a lot of people forget that was a Wii U game that was ported over. Like that's the incredible thing is like Breath of the Wild is so intrinsically, tied to the Switch, but like it's a Wii U game, and the Wii U version is actually runs better and plays better, because it was optimized for that system.
Yeah.
So I still have my Wii U copy. It's sealed.
I do too.
It's sealed. My Wii U copy's sealed. I know you initially played Breath of the Wild on Wii U, but mine's sealed, and I'm keeping it that way.
Keeping it sealed, yeah, because that thing is probably gonna be like $400 plus some dollars. Like someone is going to raise the price for people who want to play that. And the thing about it is that later on, like Super Bomberman R, we were talking about this before we recorded this episode. We were talking about the popularity of Super Bomberman R, and like Bomberman really, and this is from Konami, people who just was so against Konami because of what happened to Kojima and everything. This game came out and was just selling like crazy. It was it definitely would want to switch, But Super Bomberman R, I did not expect that game to sell that big, and it surprised Konami enough that they put it on the other platforms and everything.
Yeah, and I mean, it kind of always goes that way with kind of Switch partnerships, right? Where like the game will come out on Switch first and be kind of successful, and then you move on to another platform, and then like the Xbox version had Master Chief, and I think they had some Minecraft tie-in. Like they had a whole bunch of crossover stuff. And I think the PlayStation stuff had like Metal Gear Solid and a bunch of other Konami IPs. So like it's I don't know. Bomberman was really interesting. It's funny because like my brother-in-law got a Switch like relatively soon after it came out as well, and we all bought it for like Zelda and Mario in anticipation of what was coming, and he bought it for Bomberman and Street Fighter. He's not like a huge gamer or anything, but like it's just funny the different reasons why people buy this console.
Oh yeah, especially if you look at April. Puyo Puyo Tetris came out April 25th. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe came out April 28th. Lego City Undercover. Now, but Mario Kart 8, like, we didn't expect that game to be this big of a number even until now. Like, I think ever since it released on Switch, it stayed in the NPD.
Well, it's sold over 50 million copies as of this recording, right? Wave 2 of the DLC is coming out on what Tuesday, I think.
Yes.
And so, like, I mean, Mario Kart is just a monster, and I mean, Mario Kart's always been super popular. It's Mario Kart, right? But like, I mean, even on the Wii U, it had like a 70% attach rate, right? I mean,
Yes.
I think it sold like 7 or 8 million units, and the Wii U only sold 12. So, yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah, it's a big deal to see this game, because this is kind of like, I kind of don't want to, I want to say it's the first ported game, and I don't want to call Breath of the Wild as a port in a sense, because they both released on the same day. You know what I mean? Because like Mario Kart 8 was released earlier on Wii U, then it was brought over to Switch. Compared to that game releasing, yes, that game releasing on two platforms at the same time. I kind of see that differently in
yeah,
a way.
yeah.
And
So
of course, Puyo Puyo Tetris, like we you got it definitely for Tetris
yeah,
and everything. And even that sold out well because it ended up on Xbox and PlayStation 4 down the line.
yeah. Well, I mean, Tetris is, you got to own Tetris somehow.
Uh-uh.
I mean, I'm going to own 3 versions of Tetris on the Switch, so I like Tetris. I can't help it. Okay.
If we look at May, you mentioned also Street Fighter 2, the Final Challengers, and also the Skya 5 Complete came out that month.
Hmm.
And not so many people. The Skya was a game that was still low key, but it's the series now has kind of like turned out like very big that people have noticed it. Not still, not people don't buy it, but like people notice it now in a sense.
Hmm.
Um, I remember I didn't get Ultra Street Fighter 2, the Final Challengers, because uh it just wasn't for me until once Capcom showed that they were doing like the arcade collection, and I'm like, oh, I get to play Street Fighter 3 Third Strike again. I just went ahead and got that version instead.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, that Street Fighter game was pretty good though, right? I mean, it was worth playing, I think. I mean, it was $40. I know a lot of people had issues with that, but uh
Oh, you remember that debate, that discussion?
I mean, yeah, but people are always mad at the price of things, so I just didn't really care.
And like, I kind of wonder. I wonder if case, because we're moving into June. Arms was released, and Case Story 2 and Arms and Case Story 2 was kind of like the big games. And I wonder what's Case Story Plus, because that was Nicholas. If that was kind of like the start of the double dipping in the sense that people was buying it digitally and buying it physically. I don't know when
Well,
the
that
double dipping kind of start.
well, that was the thing though, right? Is that a bunch of these games came out digitally and then they would come out physically later.
Hmm.
And I mean, you see that with a lot with Limited Run right now, but I think Nicholas
Yes.
started all that. So, uh, let's see. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think that it's interesting. I think it's they're definitely taking advantage of collectors, which is, like a good and a bad thing, but like uh you can't deny how effective it's been. So, and they
Yeah.
and the thing too is like, even though these games come out physically on other platforms right away, like it always seems like these are big events when they come out.
Yeah, because what is that one Metroid style game that was on PlayStation 4 that came out to Wii U, and then it
Axiom Verge?
Axiom Verge. Yeah, Axiom Verge was a big one because once that dropped on Switch and then they announced the physical, people were buying the physical
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah. So, I mean, there was a lot of games that year. Uh and then, obviously we got like really major third-party support from Bethesda first off, I mean,
Hmm.
technically I guess Ubisoft was first with Mario Rabbids, but I still count that as a first-party game because it has Mario in it. Uh
Yeah.
but to see major third-party support, like major as in AAA, right?
Hmm.
To see not only Skyrim, which was okay, yeah, Skyrim's on everything. They're probably gonna put Skyrim on there anyway. But like Doom, right? Like Doom 2016 was a huge, huge deal. You know?
Yeah.
And then obviously like later we got Wolfenstein from them and Doom Eternal, which I think right now is actually up for pre-order unlimited run for the physical edition. Which was interesting.
Which I think is only $15 on the eShop for Switch.
The digital version is.
Yeah.
Are you sure? I don't know. I already own it, so it's not gonna tell me. But
it was only digital when it first came out for Doom Eternal.
Yeah, I know. I got it. But yeah, it's the Switch's first year was incredible. I still think 2019 is also a standout year. And then
2019 was just September alone for 2019. Well, no, because I got to include July and August, because July was Fire Emblem Three Houses. August was Astral Chain, and then September was just like Dragon Quest XI-S, Link's Awakening, Deus Ex Machina, not Deus Ex Machina. Sorry about that. My robot game,
Daemon X Machina.
Daemon X, yeah. And then all of those other indie games, just like September was packed that year for 2019.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I really think the Switch coming out with such a strong first year was essential. And the fact that they just kept that momentum going. I mean, we talk about it all the time. Yeah, they had stuff come out on 3DS and stuff, but like them really focusing on one console and kind of moving some projects from the Wii U to the Switch later, right? Like, because Odyssey was supposed to be on the Wii U, right? And they held it.
Yeah.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I think, was started as a Wii U project and they held it. So, holding some of these big games for the Wii U or for the Switch from the Wii U was a really smart move on their part.
Yeah, because I think 2018, that's when they started to phase out. Because I think I was watching the 2017 Nintendo Direct for September when they announced Doom and everything. Because that first section of the show was straight 3DS games, and Pokemon was a big one. I think after that, when Switch was more available and was kind of like in full effect, they started doing they were still doing some 3DS games, but they was waiting for all of that to be released, and then their Nintendo Direct started focusing on Switch on them.
Yeah.
So if we take a look going down more, in August was Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Minecraft Story Mode, that's the Telltale game. That one came and went. Like I know Minecraft has been a big thing, but like
I just think people didn't care at that point. I really just think people did not care about Telltale at that point because they were about to go under, and I mean I know nobody really knew they were going under, but like it was about the time where they were pushing too many projects out, too many mediocre projects, and it was just, I don't know, it was not great, a great time for them. And Minecraft, like it's weird. It's like one of those games that people like. It's sold incredibly well, but nobody ever talked about. Like their other games. But yeah. Did we skip over the summer games?
I mean, no, not really.
Because we didn't talk about ARMS, really. We didn't talk about Splatoon 2, really.
I mean, we could. What the thing with ARMS is that they did.
Ed still thinks we're getting a sequel.
I still
before
think yes.
Splatoon 3.
Yes. Well, no, it depends on when we get the direct. I think we're gonna have our I think we're gonna have a showing of Arms 2. We're not gonna get it now before our Splatoon 3. Um because we didn't get the direct in June or had have a direct like a first party direct and stuff. So I think we're just waiting to see when that game's gonna get announced. And when I think that game, if they do it R2, I think that's a 2023 release for Mars 2. Because I think after we found out when Bayonetta 3 was coming out, we pretty much got a list of their fall and somewhat of their winter lineup coming out. So, but yeah, like you mentioned, Arms was their new IP. Splatoon 2 was like really big. That did like big numbers. K Story Plus did good with it. The game Trolling Eye. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I remember that. That was interesting.
Yeah. But we had Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle August 29th. And I remember we were watching E3, but we seen pics of the someone was taking pictures of like the convention, and they kind of like seen this. They're like, "What the world is this?" And then when we seen it at E3, definitely with the director crying and like Miyamoto praising him and everything, and we see the game in action. People who laughed at this and didn't want this game literally saw him just like, this is Mario and XCOM. And even the XCOM developers were just like, yeah, I'm buying this game for Switch. It's ever since that game came out, even though it's been on sale multiple times, it has been a huge hit. No one knew that they would enjoy a Mario game with the rabbits in it. Because everybody knows, well, some people do not like the rabbits at all.
I mean, yeah, no. Nobody likes them.
Yeah, but when, like, if we look at Rayman Legends Definitive Edition, we thought we was going to get that Rayman amiibo.
Yeah, well, I never really thought we were going to get a Rayman amiibo because his arms aren't attached and his legs aren't attached. How are you going to make an amiibo look cool with detached limbs? You're just going to give him a bunch of Link P stands to stand on? Like, no?
I don't know. I think it was just something that, we wonder what happened to the product.
Well, I always heard that that's why he wasn't in Smash, is because the amiibo was going to be too hard to construct.
Okay.
Which I guess is a valid answer, but also not good enough.
Well, we really didn't really have, I think besides some of the Ubisoft costumes, we really didn't have no Ubisoft characters in Smash.
No. I mean, we didn't really have any Western characters in the first place, right?
Besides Shovel Knight, but he wasn't playable.
No, I'm saying playable characters, right? I mean, we have Minecraft.
Playable, yeah.
We have Minecraft, Steve, and we have Banjo-Kazooie, right? That was kind of it, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, everything else was, if it wasn't Bandai Namco or Nintendo or definitely Square. I think Square probably makes like 6% of the list in Capcom.
No, I think there's a big variety. I mean, we have Konami with like with the
Snake?
2 Castlevania characters and Snake and
yeah. But it's not like, I think if we look at it, of course, we got Sora from Kingdom Hearts. We got
who called that?
You did. We got Cloud and Sephiroth for Final Fantasy VII. I wonder if I'm missing someone.
From Square?
Let's see, Capcom had Ryu, Ken, and Mega Man. Sega had Sonic
I still can't believe we only got one Sonic character.
Yeah.
Like, I'm shocked that Knuckles wasn't in there as like an Echo character or something, or Shadow. Right? Those could be like, and I bet they add more characters as Echo characters, right? Like,
Mhm.
I feel like that's an easy thing for them to do.
I should I we'll have another discussion about Smash cause of the future because I think now that they had like Bandai Namco, Capcom, Konami, SNK, and Square, and one and Bayonetta they had that Sega slash Platinum, and definitely because of Bayonetta being on Switch, I kind of wonder are they gonna go out and get any more characters for the next Smash? But that's like another expression pass on this all.
Yeah.
With it. We got NBA 2K18 in September. September 15th. That was a big thing.
That was a great game. That game is so good on Switch. I buy it every year on Switch. It's so good.
A lot of people do.
Actually. I love basketball though, so I mean, yeah, but I mean, like most people buy it on the other consoles.
Yeah.
But
yeah, they do. I think it's because it's not like I mean they did get a little microtransaction greedy in the later editions, but I think it's just like you said, Corey, being able to take this game on the go and everything. You know, you can't really pick up your Xbox or your PS4 and then be on the go. I mean, I think it was just like I got the cartridge or I got the game digitally installed. I could just, take it off and my friends want to play, hand him a controller and bam, we go at it and have fun. Yeah. Nobody was talking about graphics or anything like that or the technical specs. I think everybody was just like, we got a basketball game on Switch and I get to play it like that. It's kind of just the same thing with MLB The Show for this year. It's just like we got a great baseball game, and people who are playing it are still playing a lot of it on Switch. So, yeah.
By the way, I played the free trial of that game, the MLB The Show.
Yeah,
it does not run well on the Switch at all. I was having a good time with it, right? Like, I mean, it was fine, but I don't know. There's something about it that it just didn't feel great to me on the Switch. Because I was actually thinking about, because I was like, man, I want a sports game. I feel like, I don't really like watching baseball, but playing baseball games has always been like fun, But I don't know. It just didn't do anything for me. And I know it's on Game Pass and stuff, so I'll probably check it out on Game Pass now. Yes. But yeah.
I mean, I think that game had potential. I think the MLB and Sony were surprised. I think people were just happy that regardless of how it ran, that it showed up on Switch and people gave it support. I think Sony and the MLB, I think they're happy with that. Mm-hmm. So we'll probably see future games. And I kind of would separate that from how they treated FIFA in a sense. And I think we'll see next year's edition if it's going to be a copy and paste, or is it going to be like, oh no, they really went in and focused on this. Because I'm just like, I understand that they were doing 3 systems and everything, but this is their first time kind of developing for it. And since MLB 20 came out on Xbox previous year, I think they have more experience doing it on those platforms than Switch. I think they were still learning it. So I think they learned it and they probably been working on for 22, learning some tricks and stuff to get it ready for next year. I think it's going to probably be better for next year.
I mean, it still runs fine, right? I mean, it's still a serviceable game, but it just, when you start getting stuff like that on the Switch, it's just like, oh boy, it's starting to show its technical inferiority. So
Yeah.
it's still fun though. I mean, like that. I mean, FIFA is still fun, and NBA 2K is still fun, right? Like I love playing NBA 2K in handheld mode. Like I'll just be playing a game, kicking back, playing. It's fun. Like it's fun. Like that 2K. I gotta give it to 2K. Even with 2018, like after the first like 2 weeks, right? They put a patch out on Switch, and ever since NBA 2K has run pretty flawlessly, I would say, on Switch. Granted, it only runs at 30 instead of like 60 or 120 like the big boy versions do, but it's a great game.
Yeah.
As long as you don't want to play online, or if you don't want to play the stupid my character person player game.
I feel like no one cares to play online. I think people who play the Switch version just want to play the computer or do their season.
Yeah, I mean people on the other. If you're gonna play online, you're playing on the other consoles.
And that's if the other console. Well, for MLB, yes. If it was FIFA, question mark. I'm leave it at that.
Yeah.
We got Poké Tournament DX. September 22nd. That one kind of came and went, but I own Poké Tournament on Wii U, so I kind of skipped the Switch version in a sense.
You missed all the DLC, Ed.
I know. FIFA 18, September 29th, 2017. Was that the year I came down to come see you, to meet you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because we went to GameStop and I ended up getting FIFA and something.
Yeah, because we went to Toys R Us to go get our Super Nintendos.
Right.
That day.
Right.
What a wonderful time.
It was all right.
Hey. Tiny Barbarian DX from Nicholas was October 10th. Fire Emblem Warriors was October 20th. Man,
that's a game that surprised a lot of people, I think.
Yeah, I think because of the success of Hyrule Warriors on Wii U. I think that was kind of their second. Wasn't that? No, this would have been their third game with Koei Tecmo. No,
I think it was only Nintendo's second.
For the Warriors game, it's the second in the series, but I'm thinking about them working with Koei Tecmo because they did Metroid Other M, but they also did the Ninja Gaiden for Wii U.
Yeah, Razor's Edge, the remake of 3.
Yeah,
the better version of 3.
Yeah,
which is also now available on Switch as well. In that Ninja Gaiden HD collection, which I hear is not, and people don't like, but
on none of the platforms, it's not good.
Why?
They found it like.
What happened? Those games are so good. All they had to do is like
because they don't. All of them are the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 3
versions. Those are the superior versions.
They're missing stuff that was on the Xbox version.
No, the Sigma versions are like the ones with everything in them.
Right, but they're using the PS3 coding, which they feel like was worse than the Xbox one. Digital Foundry did a breakdown of all of them, like a review of all of them. And yeah, the Switch version isn't that good or anything. But they were just like, out of all of them, for all 3 of them, they were just like, none of the versions are good because all the problems that was in Sigma is in the game. So they never fix all of those problems from the PS3 version of it. So, buyer beware. Look at it if you care. Realize that there was 2 Just Dance games. Just Dance 2017 on the release date, and Just Dance 2018 on October 24th. Didn't realize that they did 2 versions.
Well,
of
Just Dance Just Dance came out in November the previous year, right? And I mean, you know, when a console launches, you usually put some games from, you know, a couple months, like within the last couple months on the system, right? To try to garner. It's just another marketing beat for them, I think. Especially for Just Dance, right? I mean, that game is so stupidly popular. It's upsetting.
Was it still on Wii when it came out? I think 17
Yeah,
was.
because I think 2020 was the last year it was on Wii, but it skipped the Wii U for 2 years, remember?
That's what I was about to ask. I'm like, did 17 come out for Wii U?
Yeah.
But 18 and 19 didn't come to Wii U.
I think 18 came to Wii U, but 19 and 20 came to Wii only, and then they stopped with the Wii.
Did they stop?
Because it's the Wii. Please stop.
We got Super Mario Odyssey, October 27th. That was like really big. Cartoon Network Battle Crashers. I believe this is like their take on the Smash Brother games, in a sense. Sonic Forces, November 7th. Now, Doom, November 10th. Now, I gotta go back and look at our direct recap because we were hyped, dude. And I think we both were just like, wait, what? Because that was so unexpected. Like, literally, after that direct happened, we literally got on the mic and podcast.
Yeah.
About Doom. And then when it came out, I think it dropped that Friday, and I think Bethesda was just like shocked on how good it did because they were just like, let's get Doom. Bethesda didn't say that, but it was just like gamers got Doom to 1 million sales on one platform, on Switch. And I think that shocked them because at the time I didn't know that Bethesda didn't do the port of it, but they were working with Panic Button, I think, to get it ported. And my thing was, I'm just like, Bethesda's never worked on a Nintendo console, so I was shocked that they worked with Panic Button to get this game on it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering if like Nintendo went to them to say, hey, we would like to help bring Doom over to the Switch or something. Or I wonder if they were just kind of like, remember in 2017 and 2018, like Bethesda was kind of, I would say, kind of on a downward trajectory, right? In terms of popularity, right? Because like Fallout 4 didn't really perform. They kind of showed off, Dishonored didn't really perform well. The things that were doing well for them were were ironically Doom and Wolfenstein, which are like old IP. And so, yeah, of course they were going to sell like a bunch of copies of Skyrim on the Switch, right? Because Skyrim sells on anything you put it on. But, Doom is... like when you think of Doom, you think of PC gaming. You think of, I gotta buy like a $5,000 PC to run Doom.
Yeah,
right? And so the fact that Panic Button got id Tech to kind of run on Switch, and obviously they did Doom and both Wolfenstein games and both Doom games now. I mean, I played through Doom on the Switch, and it was awesome,
Yeah.
Obviously I say this every time, not the best way to play Doom, right? If you have another option, it's probably safe to say you're going to play it there. But the version that we got on Switch, plus, like, remember when they put that patch out to make it run better, and they put out a texture update, and then they put the gyroscope aiming in it, and, like, really made it feel like a proper shooter on the Switch. Like they did a lot of work to it, and I was impressed with that version. So.
Yeah, I think it's once again a lot of people not asking for the technical aspect of it, but they were just shocked that this game came because like I remember when Doom came out to Xbox and PS4, um, and it got a lot of great ratings and stuff. And I don't know how the sales went, but a lot of people really weren't talking about Doom for a while. Like it did good. Uh,
I think people
and
were just shocked more than anything that they got it there, right? Like, I mean,
mhm.
that's the thing is people were shocked that the Switch could handle Doom.
And I guess that's kind of how the porting business for a Switch boomed, in the sense that people were surprised and shocked about it. That people were their curiosity got the best of them. So in order to um, feed that curiosity, they went out and brought the game, whether they got it physically or digitally. And they were just like, yeah, I'll throw $60 just to see what it offers. And if it's bad, that's me. I didn't watch the reviews or whatever. But if it's good, I'm going to probably play the game there. And for for a lot of things besides cloud porting, um, a lot of ports that have came to the Switch has really surprisingly been good or decent enough that people just like, yeah, I'm glad that I got this game on Switch.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in a really interesting position, I guess, because like we do a Nintendo podcast and I feel like playing everything I can on the Switch is going to make a
Mm-hmm.
better show, right? But B, like, I don't have my TV all the time. Like, I have to play in handheld mode a lot to even get gaming in, right? And so,
Yeah.
uh, the Switch versions are always the versions that I'm going to play no matter what because of just my life situation. But it turns out, I mean, obviously other people want to try it out,
Yeah.
And, I mean, we talk about The Witcher all the time too.
Yeah. Which
Which
was a bit, dude. That game's so good. Even CD Projekt Red was surprised, but gamers were surprised on how it ran. Yeah, they knew that it was gonna take a graphical hit, but shoot, more people finished The Witcher on Switch than any other platform,
Well,
which was shocking to
that's
me.
not true. But I mean, I think a lot of people that were interested in The Witcher and realized that it was going to be a huge commitment decided to give it another try on the Switch, and it became, a hit there.
Oh, well, yes, correct. I think the reason why I said that is because a lot of people who played The Witcher on the other consoles, a lot of people were just like they didn't finish it there.
Well, yeah,
Like I
because
don't.
it's a 200-hour RPG, and all the other consoles have a bunch of other great games.
Mm,
I mean, if you remember, The Witcher came out. To be fair, The Witcher 3 was not great when it launched either. I know a lot of people
see,
remember it fondly, but
and I don't remember that The Witcher 3 had that problem. I know that it was popular, and then maybe because of the PC version.
it's the world that I think people. But like they changed the entire combat system in that game in a
Uh,
patch. They like on Xbox and PlayStation they pushed out so like 2 or 3 stability patches. Like it was not great at launch for the consoles.
I'm going to yeah. I probably would have to look at it because out of the blue, The Witcher 3 got very popular, and
I mean,
I know.
I think people were looking for that alternative to Skyrim, that next
Yeah.
Skyrim, right? And because
Uh,
Skyrim was so popular, and I
yes.
think people were just looking for that next Skyrim because like The Witcher 2 was not very popular at all. I
No.
mean, I
And
played a little bit of it on the Xbox 360. I'm like, this is fine. It's cool. I think, Geralt's a cool character. Like for me, I like the world of The Witcher and I
mhm.
think it's really interesting, like the lore and stuff, but like I don't know. I tried to watch the show though, and it's too like it's too gory for me and too like realistic gore, right? Like I
Yeah.
want to like it, but I couldn't. I tried.
I haven't even started one episode. I was like, oh, okay.
The thing is, like, I like it until like somebody slices somebody's stomach open and you watch their intestines fall out, and I'm like, I don't want to watch that.
Hmm.
Or like, it's cool because he's fighting this big monster, and then these people come around and he has to fight them too, and then he sticks his sword through their mouth, and you just see like gallons of blood come out of their mouth. I'm like, why? It's the same thing with The Boys right now too. It's like that premise and that show is so interesting to me, and I really want to watch it, but like every time like there's a clip of it on YouTube or something, there's just like gallons of blood and like unnecessarily gory to me, right? And it's just like, oh man, I want to watch that show so bad, but like I can only take so much blood and stuff,
How the over the top gore,
yeah,
extreme
so
gore.
over the top.
Which is even though this is a side tangent, my mom was watching Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
And I was leaving work, and she was watching it, and I was thinking about, they did this on standard definition and everything. And I told my mom, I was just like, this is the one that they melt, right? I was wondering, I'm like, this is the first one.
Yeah, but right? we're so far from that though. We're like, I mean, you watch that now, that looks super fake and super cheesy, right?
Yeah.
But like you look at the stuff now when like people are getting their like limbs ripped off and their heads like they're getting decapitated, and you see the blood squirt out of their neck. It's just like it's
too much.
It's too much.
Definitely Mortal Kombat 11. Like they literally overdo it in that. But
even that is like comedically over the top. Whereas TV shows, it's like it's like real people. It's real, like, you have with video games, you have that element of like, this doesn't quite look super realistic, right? Like, I mean, so The Last of Us is a game, especially part 2, that looks super like it's almost there where it's like almost super realistic to the, and it's like, I know what happens in that game. I don't want to play it.
Yes.
Anyways,
I have played it, and I have that review on Boss Rush that you guys can check. No, I was telling my mom that I'm like, I want to sit down and rewatch all 3 movies, because it's really been a long time since I've seen it. Last time I seen it was when I was a kid. I remember seeing all 3 movies, but I can't remember beat for beat how all of that goes. So I kind of want to sit down. I'm probably gonna buy like the Blu-ray collection, because I never seen Crystal Doom, the
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yeah, I've never seen that one.
It's totally watchable. In my ranking, it was the 3rd best Indiana Jones movie. Spoilers.
So I want to sit down and, like, when I be able to go on vacation, hopefully soon, I want to sit down and I want to watch it, like have my snacks, probably then my Series X, and just like dive in watching all 4 movies, and everything. Yeah, because I don't remember the 2nd and the 3rd one.
Oh man, Last Crusade's my favorite. Last Crusade's the best. The one with Sean Connery. Oh, it's so good.
So
I know we're switch, everybody.
Yeah, that's how when you said that, I was just like, I forgot to tell Corey about the Indiana Jones stuff. So
yeah, that's fine.
Like I said, side tangent.
But then we were talking about Doom and stuff. So like even after like Doom and Skyrim come out in November, and what else was in November that year?
L.A. Noire was November 14th. Rhyme was November 14th. Which I would say.
What was the big Nintendo game in November though? What did Pokemon come out that year? Was there a Pokemon game that came out that year? Or was that still like 3DS?
That was 3DS.
Because Let's Go came out in 2018, right?
Right.
So
it was for a 3DS, because they had the 2DS version of it. Their next game was Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but that was December 1st.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, let's talk about that though, real quick. Like Xenoblade was like when they showed that off, like people were not expecting a sequel to Xenoblade Chronicles, right? And now look at Xenoblade 3 today. Like we're recording this, by the way, we still got to do Patreon stuff, but we'll get there in a second. But like, so we're recording this a little bit early because I'm going on vacation, so we're recording a ton of episodes in advance. Xenoblade Chronicles came out today, July 29th, and it's like it's all anybody can talk about today, right?
Yes.
Except for like the Digimon Cyber whatever debacle, but that's another problem. But I mean, in terms of like playing games, nobody is talking about anything other than Xenoblade today.
Yeah,
which is incredible for a series that like almost didn't even come over to the West.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they literally they had to get a petition, and at that time when they got that petition, they were just like, the only way that you'll be able to get this game is you have to pre-order at GameStop. Because I know, because I pre-ordered at the GameStop that nobody went to, and I was able to get my game. But I was also able to get like collector stuff or additional stuff. And then Xenoblade Chronicles S came out. People thought that wouldn't do good, but that sold, I think, decently well. And then Xenoblade Chronicles 2 came out on Switch, and bam, it was a hit.
Yeah. And like then it started coming out, oh, well, they're working on a new project. Oh, well, their one team is helping build Breath of the Wild, which was super interesting. I actually think that comparison to Breath of the Wild is what got that game super on people's radar, right? And then like Torn of the Golden Country was like a great expansion. That kind of tied the first game and the second game together in a specific way. Then, you know,
you can't deny that the characters from Xenoblade ended up in Smash, and that when they ended up as DLC in Smash, and it was just like, because of Smash, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and its DLC jumped in sales. I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah, remember? I mean, when Pyra Mythra came to Smash, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 jumped up back to number 1 on the charts.
Yeah, heck, it's the same thing with Metroid. Metroid Dread, like
it's so funny that Metroid Dread has outsold every other Metroid game combined.
Yes.
Did you know that? Did you hear that stat? It's insane.
Yeah, I did.
Insane.
But people went back and were, because was it Metroid Trilogy or something on Wii U with Metroid jumped in sales?
Everything did. All because they were still selling games on the eShop at that point, right? Like they had the Game Boy Advance games and the trilogy. Like they had basically every Metroid game up to Dread is available on the Wii U.
Yeah, because that became a big story, that Wii U Metroid on Wii U sales jumped up like 500% or something. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was it was crazy.
Yeah, but Xenoblade Chronicles 2, seeing that game announced in the Nintendo Direct and how big it was, and like people just fell in love with it.
Yeah.
And I think that's when it started to be like more JRPGs were hitting that platform and everything, because that was for December, that was big.
Yeah.
We had WWE 2K18 in December 6th, The End is Nigh, Party Planet, and then Azure Striker Gunvolt Striker Pack.
Yeah.
Oh, so quickly, just with Wii U, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, March 3rd. Darksiders War Master Edition, May 23rd. Cars 3 Driven to Win, June 13th. Axiom Verge, October. And Just Dance 2018. But that was the only 5 games that came on Switch and stuff. And I remember, I think, so Darksiders War Master Edition did come to Switch, but I think it was the following year that it came.
Yeah. Not sure. I don't know. So I'm trying to think. Sorry everybody. I'm trying to think.
And like I said, we didn't count the digital games because there's
there's way too many. Yeah, especially by the second half of the year, right? Remember when everybody was like kind of afraid to like, oh no, it's the Switch. Like, it's Nintendo's next console? Is it going to be powerful or not? Is it going to be like, ready to
Yeah.
go or not? And everybody was like, yeah, shut up, like
And I know we skipped over Super Mario Odyssey. That was October 27th, but Odyssey and Breath of the Wild were hitting tens and 9.5s. I think Breath of the Wild pushed it over than Odyssey, but like both, like, to have two big games like Odyssey and Breath of the Wild to hit tens from a lot of outlets, that was huge. I've never seen another console that has done that.
yeah.
In its first year of release in games. Um,
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I mean, it's the thing about 2017 is that Nintendo planned ahead, which they had never really done
mm-hmm.
before, right? And Reggie kind of talks about this in his book, and he talks a little bit about it. He talked a little bit about it on a couple of podcasts I was listening to, and like Nintendo knew that if they did not nail the Switch, like they were kind of done, right? And so when we started this podcast, when we were kind of covering stuff that second half of 2016, there wasn't a lot to talk about, like at all,
Yeah.
right? They were pushing out, kind of like scrub games, right? Like Mario Tennis Ultra Smash and Color Splash, which I know you like, but I mean, it didn't really get a lot of love, right? And
Yeah.
I mean, there was a few other things that came out, but that was it. That was it. And because they were holding software for and Zelda was supposed to come out in November on Wii U, and it didn't. They
And
pushed
yeah,
it.
they pushed it so that it could be the Switch. It did. Anuma was just like, I know that we had our problems and stuff with it, but we only had 6 months to port this game onto Switch. I'm like, wait, what?
Well, they made that decision super late, right? And so,
Mm-hmm.
the fact that they the fact that they even got that console or that game ported that quickly is like, I don't know. I mean, remember
Monolith Soft had to work some crazy magic in hours.
it had some real issues at the beginning, though, right? I mean, it had a lot of kind of stability issues and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it ran fine, but I mean, on the Wii, on the Switch, it had a lot of frame rate drops. It had a lot of really interesting issues that I'm sure Nintendo is glad that they solved for.
Yeah. And I kind of understand why I think after hearing that they only had a short time to get that on Switch and everything, I kind of understood the problems that they were that game had, and everything. And I think that's why all the delays and stuff. I know. I feel like I'm assuming that their last delay before it officially got announced with Switch. I think that was when they was probably getting that game ready for Switch, so they had the delay and stuff. And I think they were just trying to get as much as they could polish and everything, because that's a big task. I'm like, okay, Nintendo's doing an open world style game with Breath of the Wild. It's going to have its problems and everything. I do love the fact that they were open about that. Yeah, we modded The Legend of Zelda for the NES to get an idea and feel of it. That's cool that they did that.
Yeah.
But I think they just had a lot of issues, and I kind of just like, I could forgive them for these issues because this is their first time doing something like this. And yeah, it, like I said, it had its problems, but they worked and patched that game to what it is now. Yeah, it still has some problems and everything, but I think they did enough, or the best that they could, for a game that was kind of their first time trying to tackling in that genre, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, you know, Nintendo made a lot of great choices, and uh I said this a lot when the Switch was revealed, and even to this day, that I almost feel like the Wii U was the prototype Switch, where they just like, it was a great idea, they just got it backwards,
Mm-hmm.
and they were trying to fit the two screen kind of experience in with the TV, which didn't really work out. Uh, but the fact that you could play your game in handheld mode versus TV mode was a great idea, and the Wii U was the first console to do that. And
Shoot, dude, watch a Hulu and YouTube on that mug, and a bit of Netflix. Yeah.
but they got it backwards, and I think a lot of people like to give give them a lot of crap for mistakes and stuff, which, don't get me wrong, they made mistakes on the Wii U, but like, you're not going to know what's wrong until you put it out there, right? And
Right.
I think the marketing missteps with the Wii U, clearly their message with the Switch was like the complete opposite of the Wii U, right? They made it known what the console was, how you put it together, how you took it out of the dock, what you could do with the console, right? They made all that super clear out of the gate. Whereas the Wii U, right? Remember when everybody thought the Wii U was a tablet attachment to the Wii? And yeah, I don't know, man. I just
that
think,
that boggled my mind, because I'm just like, do you
why? They
not?
only showed the tablet at first.
They showed the system.
No, the initial reveal was just the tablet.
I thought they
And
showed
then
the
people were,
system.
no, the initial reveal was just the tablet, and then they showed people playing with Wii remotes and nunchucks. Remember that Chase Me game, and that ended up becoming the Luigi's Mansion kind of ghost chasing game.
Was this the reveal of an actual trailer at E3, or was it Reggie put in the system?
No, this was the initial thing the year before the Wii U came out.
Okay.
I remember it so specifically because what ended up becoming Zombie U, Ubisoft showed it off, and it was that weird alien game. Remember? The aliens, it was like this weird alien game that was like the prototype vertical slice of what became Zombie U. And then they showed off Nintendo Land, which was the only game they showed off that year. Like, the big game they showed off that year for Wii U was Nintendo Land, and they put all the Nintendo Land stuff on stage. Well, maybe, no, that was the year after. But they ended up showing a lot of the prototypes of what will become Nintendo Land. And everybody was playing with Wii U nunchucks, and one person was playing with the tablet. And they even showed Wii Sports, and you put the tablet on the ground, and like, when you're golfing, you could see the ball on the ground when you swung.
But I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just like, how do you guys get confused that?
Because they didn't show the console, and they showed a bunch of games that you could play on Wii already. That's why, Ed. That's totally why. And then, the following year they showed the tablet in front of the console. Yes, but like, the way it was positioned, like, it totally looked like that weird redesigned Wii that they ended up showing in Canada. Remember the red and black Wii that was kind of rounded?
Mm-hmm.
That's literally what the console looked like, and they didn't even show the whole box. They just showed like where the disc goes in, and it was sitting behind the tablet.
Okay, so right now they got I put it on Wii U reveal. This is like on IGN. Okay, yeah, because you're seeing Super Mario. So what ends up happening, because people are not, if you don't pay attention, it's because of the TV being so big, and you see the Wii U, but no one's paying attention because the system is underneath the TV. It's the white one.
And that's the other thing. The initial tablet was white, just like the Wii. Like, it had the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Okay, so it shows that, and then okay, so it says switch from TV to the new controller.
Yeah, because it didn't.
It didn't have the system.
Anyways, my point
Yeah.
is that the marketing for the Switch was the extreme opposite of what the reveal for the Wii U was. And
Mm-hmm.
that, I think, was a great first step, right? That commercial was a great first step. The showcase in January was a little odd, but then, like, we started playing Zelda, we started playing Bomberman. You know, Snipper Clips was a great surprise, right, at launch. And, like, from there, we ended up getting a lot of great games. And, you know, the Switch is still a great console. I wish it was a little bit more powerful, but other than that, like, I don't know if I would ever change anything. I would change the store. The store is really slow. The eShop is super slow. Like, it's at the point where, like, I've gone to Nintendo.com and purchased digital games from there and downloaded it to my Switch because the store is so slow. So, anyways, that's me.
Well, well, Corey, what would you give the grade to Switch
The launch
for its
year?
first year?
The
Yeah.
launch year? Oh, it's definitely an A. I mean, I would almost argue it's still the best year the Switch had in terms of like releases. I would argue that point. I don't know. 2019 was a pretty good year too, but
Yeah, see, I think I would give 2019 definitely an A plus. I would give 2019. I think
yeah,
it's because they had so much heat with their games. Um, but I agree with you, giving it an A that year for 2017. I do agree. I think, man, 2019. I just like, man, that was such an unexpected year. But I'm like, they had hits, like just from a first party stats. Because I think 2019 was that all. Did oh goodness, what was in August?
Mario
Dead
Rabbids.
Cells.
Oh yeah, a lot of people
Was Dead
love Dead
Cells in
Cells.
2019 or was that
No,
18? I wonder.
hold on.
Because I remember Dead Cells when that got announced,
It was
everybody
20.
was.
So initial release date was 2017, but it didn't come out to Switch
What it Yeah, because it didn't hit the consoles. I think
until 2018, August 7th.
2018. Yeah,
So
because they announced it. I know. I think it did. I think Best Buy or someone showed off that Dead Cells was coming to Switch, but they showed the physical version of it, and that's how everybody found out that it was happening. And then that's when they did the trailer and everything. Because I remember Dead Cells was the game in 2018 for August. Because people skipped the digital version. I mean, they got it early, but people were just like, I already ordered my copy from Amazon. Like people literally bought that game physically for Switch.
yeah. So
Then Hades was when 2019. Then
I think it was 2020.
it may have, yeah,
Yeah.
because
I don't.
that took game of the year.
I mean,
Hades.
I remember the. Uh, I remember the big deal for me was the Shovel Knight DLC.
Oh yeah.
So, yep.
And then they had the Amiibo collection. I'm like, oh, dang it.
August 13th, 2021, Hades. Really? That was only last year?
It could have been.
Oh, hold on.
Was it?
Nope, I lied. It's 2020. I lied. This is the the PlayStation and Xbox release date is 2021.
Okay.
No, it was 2020. Okay. I was like, that was not just last year. But anyways, I think that I think that the Switch 2017 is arguably the best year of the Switch still in terms of quality output and how many quality titles they put out first party wise. Even if you throw the 3DS stuff in there, it was still like it's probably one of Nintendo's best years ever.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, because you look at the 3DS lineup that year, you had Fire Emblem Shadows of Valencia, you had one of the Mario and Luigi remakes, or was it Paper Jam? I don't. One of those. It was. It was one of those remakes. I think.
Gosh.
You had
for 3DS.
Yeah. I gotta look this up. We did a whole episode, by the way, on will the 3DS survive the Switch's launch?
Oh my goodness. So Mario Luigi Superstar Saga and Bowser's Minion that came out.
Yeah.
Good googly moogly.
They had Etrian Odyssey 5. They had Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon. They had Samus Returns. That game was big that year. They released the 2DS XL that year, which was a great little console. It's still plugged in on my desk over there.
Metroid 7. I was just, when I was watching the direct and they were talking about Metroid Samus Returns, I was just like, dang, it's literally been 4 years since Metroid Dread came out. Because Metroid Samus Returns came out in September. And of course, Dread, I was just like, wow. They didn't even realize that Nintendo had a lot of first party stuff.
I'm telling you. I mean, they had a lot of first party stuff that year in general, period. So
yeah.
Good on them, Good on Nintendo, right? 2017, a huge year. I mean, I feel like it was like an all-out balls to the wall. We got to make this year count.
Yeah.
So.
And I guess that's why the Wii U could do whatever it did, because they had the 3DS.
What, just
in the sense
die with no dignity.
But then it became the system that everybody wanted after.
That's how every Nintendo console is like everybody goes and tries to find one. Right, like when the Wii was super popular, everybody tried to go find a GameCube. When the Switch was popular, everybody tried to go find a Wii U. That's just what happens. When like every time Nintendo has a popular console, people try to go find the old one that wasn't as popular,
and then try to go look for the games and everything.
When the DS came out, look how many people went out looking for Game Boy Advance SPs, right? Man, God, Game Boy Advance though, man, great console.
I thought everybody had a Game Boy Advance, even like the flip one.
Oh.
That's SP, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I hate the only thing I like about the flip one is the rechargeable battery and the backlight. I hate the flip one. I like the side one way better.
The flip one looked like a makeup case.
but you could totally see the evolution, right?
Yeah.
Of, like going to the DS. So
yeah.
What do I know?
And then the DS was kind of basic, didn't look real, but the DS Lite came out, that black one. Shoot, dude, I had to have that black one. I think you said you got the white one.
No, I have the one that matches the GameCube, the Indigo one.
Oh, the purple one. Okay. Yeah.
It's Indigo, Ed.
Oh, Indigo.
Jeez, you purple people. I'm just kidding.
I had to have that black one because it was so weird because I bought my DS version a little bit late.
Oh, you're talking about DS. I thought you were talking about Game Boy Advance.
Oh no.
No, I have the white DS Lite and I have a blue DSi.
Oh yeah. See, for Game Boy Advance, I had the purple. I had the Indigo. I had the first version of the Game Boy Advance that came out. Because it was my Christmas gift. I told my mom, get me a Game Boy Advance. Like, I had to have it.
Yeah.
And everything. And I think it's up to when I started getting a job and started buying my own stuff. That's when I was just like, well, I can get the system anytime because I don't have bills yet to pay. But yeah, like the DS Lite, because I didn't do the DSi because I was so good with the light and everything that I didn't get the next handheld to the 3DS.
Yeah.
And everything. And I think I bought two versions of the 3DS. I know I got the Pokemon one and of the 2DS, but I have the Legend of Zelda 3DS one.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, yeah. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2017 for Nintendo Switch, and like I said, not just the physical stuff was major, and then like adding all the digital stuff, like shoot, that of course there was some questionable content games on there and everything, but like it was really good to see a system that that certain people didn't believe in, saying that, because some people feel like still like they regret getting a Nintendo Switch. I'm like, but the system have games. I think the thing about it is it's just that it's games that you don't prefer, and it's a preference thing. But I'm like, you cannot knock the Nintendo Switch for the list of games that's on there and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But before we end the show, everybody, Corey, we got some Patreon shout outs to do. So let's shout out some people.
Yeah. I'm not going to do the whole spiel. I just want to thank all of our patrons and our Patreon producers at the $5 level over on patreon.com/Boss Rush Network. Quentin Jackson, Rebecca Jewell, Adriel Munger, my wife, Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, and Celeste Roberts are our Patreon producers for this episode. Again, we are recording this on July 29th because I'm going on vacation and Boss Rush summer vacation is coming up. So we're trying to record a bunch of these in bulk. So apologies if we didn't get to you on this episode, if you subscribed after. But we will get to you nonetheless. I want to thank all of our patrons. I want to thank our Patreon producers. I want to thank all of our free listeners. If you do listen to Nintendo Power Block on free feeds, would you be so kind to leave an iTunes review and 5-star rating, as well as on Spotify? Thanks.
Yes. Well, Corey, where can we find you?
You can find me at I am CoreyNHD on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me on the Boss Rush podcast. You can find me on various other things here on the Boss Rush Network, including Nintendo Power Block.
Yes. You guys can find me on Twitter at TheAdventureCode and on Instagram at TheAdventureCode. You can check out my writings on BossRush.net, and you can check me out on Nintendo Power Block. We go live on Mondays, but if you miss it, you can catch us up on your podcast feed and on YouTube on Wednesdays, and check out Nintendo Expansion Pass on Sundays. But you can get it early if you just become a Patreon supporter. I should say that.
Just $1.
Just $1. With that, everybody, have a great week, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time on Nintendo Expansion Pass. Bye, everybody.
Wow.